Hi. I was not really prepared to shoot a video today, but I have to do it anyways because it's been so long and my life is in complete shambles. Like, the reason why I didn't start with my cup, my pink cup, is because I haven't had time to actually wash the dishes in the sink. And my husband's coming home soon and he's gonna be like, "Why didn't you wash the dishes?" It's the 31st of December. I wasn't completely ready because it's been hectic. Like, I didn't even had chance to do a lot of laundry. Like, my husband has been amazing husband he is and doing a lot of the house stuff. But I had to record because it's the 31st of December and it's about to be 2026. And I haven't posted anything relating to wrapping up my 2025 and like planning for 2026 yet. I have so much content ideas, but I need to find the time. Like, I have to make time for it. I had this whole vision board and how I thought 2025 was going to be, and like a version of me, because 2024 was not really shitty, but it was kind of, my life took a very different turn where I quit my job and moved back to Malaysia, right? So I felt like, okay, 2025 is going to be my year. I wouldn't say I have made it my year, but I wouldn't say that it was a complete flop either. There's some areas where I felt like it was a flop. Like, I had this vision of me getting healthier, eating healthier, losing 8 kilograms of weight, going to the gym often, taking care of my health, eat more fruits, and code a lot more. I did code more, but it was not as much as I hoped it to be. There was a bunch of courses that I wanted to do as well, which I didn't get to complete all of them, but I did complete like 2 out of 3. Anyways, 2025, I had this whole big vision of how I thought my life was going to look like, all these big goals, but it sort of flopped. I wouldn't say it's a big success, but I wouldn't say it's a big failure. So it's sort of mid, is how you Gen Zs would put it. So instead of trying to wrap up the year with listing the achievements, listing whether I actually tick off a goal that I had this year, I wanted to ask myself sort of two questions in a way. And you can wrap your 2025 and plan for your 2026 with me as well as you go through this. So the first question that I ask myself is, what has 2025 taught you about yourself? And so for me, what this year has actually taught me is about who I am. What I'm still learning is that I can still change. I still have this fixed mindset where I believe an identity. Like, I don't have that growth mindset yet. I'm still learning to have that growth mindset. I've always believed like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a business owner. I could never be one. I used to think certain things about myself were sort of fixed. Like, certain people are just introverts and certain people are extroverts. Certain people have charisma, certain people don't. And I don't think I have charisma. My husband has a lot of charisma. Like, anyone he talks to and the way he talks, everyone just in a way like really, he's very magnetic. I'm not. See, that's another example of like the fixed mindset. So one of the things that I've learned about myself this year is that I have such a big fixed mindset and I'm still trying to change that. For example, like while running this media agency with my boss, I've always thought I'm not a salesperson. He is, because he can do good sales. I can't. And I've always had that self-limiting belief. And maybe that's still true. I mean, I'm not going to suddenly be amazing at sales, but I stopped thinking that of myself. I don't tell myself that's not me as quickly anymore. I just show up, I try, I talk to people, I pitch a bit maybe. And if they felt interested, then yay, that's a yay for me. If not, then I'll just move on. There was one time where I went to an event where I was going for my own personal thing. Like, I go there for me personally. It wasn't a networking event where the goal was I need to get blah 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 how many sales or leads. So I was chatting with the person who was working a booth there and we are talking about, oh, what do you do, small talk and everything. And I just said, oh, actually I'm in a marketing media agency, blah blah, we target Gen Z's. And they sounded interested, and then I got her email and phone number and everything, and lo and behold, I had a lead. And it was not even on purpose. It was not like I was trying, and it was on an event that I was going there for personal reasons, not for work. So I was really proud of myself of that. And I think that proved to me, and that became evidence that maybe I am a salesperson. I mean, let's not put the metal to the pedal, but like, at least I'm no longer thinking that, oh, I'm not a salesperson. What shifted this year is that I start to be more conscious and be more aware of what my thoughts were and stop trying to think of self-limiting beliefs. I realized there's a lot of boundaries that I put on myself that aren't really real, right? It's just in my head. They were stories that I told myself about who I was. And just because I told myself about it doesn't mean it's true, even though I should know myself most compared to other people. people, but doesn't make it true, right? And so naturally, one of the things I'm going to leave in 2025 is self-limiting beliefs. All those thoughts that quickly assume to myself, like, it's not for me, I'm not built for this, that person has charisma, I don't. All these sort of thoughts, all these self-limiting beliefs, I'm going to leave them in 2025. Another big lesson this year that I've learned is that I'm actually a very emotional person. There's actually a study that people say that everyone thinks that they're above the average, but actually everyone's just average. I think that they took a bunch of people who think that are they good drivers, and a lot more people think that they are more than average drivers. So sometimes you overestimate your capability. I actually thought that I was not that emotional, but turns out I am. So when the company pivoted to media and marketing, you have to talk to a lot more people. I'm used to sort of do the work on the laptop. I mean, I do talk to people a bit, but when you're at entry level, you don't really talk to clients, you don't really talk to people as much as you do as managers whatsoever. So when we pivoted to a media and marketing agency, and then I became co-founder, I have to talk to clients, right? There's this one client that was very difficult to handle. Let's just put it that way. And I get so emotional. I get so pissed off all of the time. I always don't understand what the hell they're thinking, like what is going on. Like I get so emotional, and I just learned that I get triggered more easily than I like to admit. Unfortunately. And for the longest time, anything small that they do, I just get triggered. And I think I took a lot of things personally. Like when somebody do this, automatically assume, like, do they think that I'm not doing my job? When actually they're just asking. I got angry easily. I crashed out a lot. I focused so much on what was wrong. So eventually I had to learn what my boss called Tai Chi, where it's just like, just take it and then move it. Just take it and move it, not taking anything personally, and stop reacting to everything immediately, and not attaching my worth to every problem. Sometimes it's just a problem that you need fixing. No one is telling me that I'm doing a shit job. I'm trying to shift my energy away from why is this happening to me, and instead more, okay, this happened, there's a problem, what should we do to fix it? There's still some emotional parts there because of course I'm human, but at least I try not to be so emotionally invested. And the third thing that I learned about myself was that starting things that are uncomfortable is really hard. Like anything that feels uncomfortable is hard for me to start. Like some of the tasks that I've done for work, I've done them before, but because there's a bunch of human interaction, and I've had just one or two bad human interaction, and I've always tried to expect, oh, this is going to be hard, this is going to be hard, when actually I've done it before. It makes me procrastinate on the task. I'm a person who likes to avoid conflict, so when I expect conflict, I procrastinate. So my brain kind of anticipate the conflict before it even begins, so it's hard for me to start. And I think a big reason for that is fear and uncertainty. It's more like fear of getting it wrong, fear of not getting a reply or being ghosted, or fear of this specific content creator being shitty, when actually if they're shitty, it's fine, let's just find someone else. There's always a solution to the problem, but I just keep on getting emotionally invested in the problem that I find myself not starting and procrastinating. Actually, every time when I start the conversation, the task, the difficult thing, it just flows. Like it's not as bad as my mind imagined. And once I've done it, it actually just goes well. It doesn't go as bad as I thought it would be. So one of the things that I'm leaving this year is fear, especially the fear of being seen, the fear of uncertainty, and fear of what people might think. Imposter syndrome is definitely something that I've had for a while. And I've always thought that, oh, I don't deserve to be here. I have that fear of what people would think of me. And so I'm going to leave that in 2025. Instead, I'm replacing it with something more simpler and just more grounding and more present, which is I'm here and I'm just going to give my best. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to have high expectations. And so I'm just going to be present. As 2025 comes to an end, maybe it's not just about the goals that we've achieved or the to-do lists that were crossed off. Maybe it's worth pausing to ask something deeper, like how has the year changed the way you see things? What beliefs were questioned? What mindsets of yours have shifted? And maybe that's enough to close a year, not with perfection. Maybe it's just enough to wrap up the year with knowing that growth hasn't stopped and learning that change is still possible.